Welcome, family. I was thinking about this the other day. We've been hearing a lot about the year of return, the African diaspora going back to Africa. So some going back to visit, some going back to stay, but making some kind of connection to the motherland. And here, the godfather of soul, James Brown, he was already connecting us to Africa way back in the 70s. Isn't that something? Now a few months back, we did a video on how many people on the 1880 census reported their birthplace as Africa. The 1880 census, y'all. And so this time we're going to do another video on this. We're going to read the names of some of these ancestors that we selected right from the 1880 census in selected counties and states. Now, you can go to any genealogy website, pull up the 1880 census, type the word Africa in the birthplace field, leave the name field blank, and just hit enter. Hit any of the southern states, and I got all kind of hits. North Carolina had 24 persons who reported their birthplace as Africa. Missouri, I had 65. Mississippi, I had 97. Georgia, I had 127. Louisiana, I had 176 persons on the 1880 census who reported that they were born in Africa. And even Texas came up 246 persons saying that their birthplace was Africa. So you can do that too. And who knows what will be on the 1870 census. You can try that as well. So we're going to go ahead and read to you some selected names from the 1880 census. And some of these persons, you might even recognize them. Some of these might even be your ancestors. And we're going to do a few more videos on this again later on selected names from the 18th census. So here we go. Let's get started. Here we go. The first one we have is in Chicago, Illinois. A man named Charles Stevens. He said he was born in 1859 in Africa. He was a servant in the home of a white family named Keene, Keene. So this is Charles Stevens, Chicago, Illinois. And then we go to St. James Parish, Louisiana. That's between New Orleans and Baton Rouge. We have Louis Sam, 69 years old, born in 1809. He said his birthplace was Africa. His wife's name was Sophie, 53 years old, born in Louisiana. And their son, Omar, 19 years old, born in Louisiana as well. Now let's go over to North Carolina. We have Long Creek, North Carolina in Mecklenburg County. That's over there, includes Charlotte County as well, right on the border of South Carolina. We have Peter Stinson, 85 years old, born in 1795, birthplace Africa. His wife, Laura, 65, born in, I didn't put down her place of birth, but it was in the United States. Wife's name was Laura, 65, and their daughter, Matilda, age 22, born in North Carolina. Let's go over to Beaufort, North Carolina. We have Cynthia Lene. She is a widow, born in 1767 on the 1880 census, birthplace Africa. And her daughter, May Lene, 48, and her son, General Lene, 3 years old. Now let's go over to Jackson, Mississippi in Hinds County, 1880 census. We have Gabriel Brooks, 65 years old, born in Virginia, but his wife, Mary Brooks, 110 years old, born in Africa. Their son, Richard, 40 years old, born in Mississippi, and their grandchildren, Polly and Emmeline. There in Hinds County, Mississippi, in Jackson. Okay, let's go over to Lowndes County, Mississippi, over in Crawford, Mississippi. We have Bryant Parker, born in 1835, birthplace Africa. His wife, Emmeline, 38 years old, born in Mississippi, and their children, Thomas, 13, Emmett, 9, Shepard, 3 years old, and the baby, Douglas, a few months old. Now we go over to Warren County, Mississippi. That's over there in Vicksburg. We have Richard Bosty, born 1776, birthplace Africa, living next door to a black family named Coleman, and an 11-year-old Irish boy named Frank Gallagher living with an Irish family named Ryan. Okay, so that's in Vicksburg, Mississippi, 1880 census, Richard Bosty. Now let's go over to Texas, Brazoria County. We have Dick Edwards, 60 years old, birthplace Africa. His grandson is Lemon Rutherford, 6 years old. His other grandson is Willie Brown, 5 years old. And they're living next door to another family, Wash and Betsy Edwards, both of them born in Africa. Wash Edwards was 35 years old, his wife Betsy, 33, and their grandson, Napoleon Harrison, 11 years old. They're in Brazoria County. Then we go over to Colorado, Texas. On the 1880 census, we have Rose Glover, 60 years old, born in Africa, and her daughter Mary Glover, 33 years old, born in Mississippi. Then let's take a couple of more. Let's go over to Houston, Texas, over in Harris County. In Houston, Texas, on the 1880 census, we have Sansi Tonia, 40 years old, birthplace Africa, his wife Adeline, born in Alabama, and their children, Catherine, 10 years old, and Alfred, 4 years old. And then Patsy Lee, 60 years old, birthplace Africa. She's a widow. Her son-in-law and his wife, Samuel and Sarah Pra, and their son Thompson, 10 years old, living with Patsy Lee there in Houston, Texas. Memphis, Tennessee, we have Maggie Ryan, born in 1852. Birthplace, yes, you know, Africa. Her husband was Mike Ryan, born in Maryland, and their son Charles Ryan, 9 years old, born in Mississippi. And then finally we go over to Granger County, Tennessee. That's over there in East Tennessee near Knoxville. We have two families. We have Rosa Nora Williams, born in 1850, birthplace Africa. Her husband was Lewis Williams, born in Virginia. He's 67 years old. And their children, Mary Anna, 20, Margaret, 22, Ella, 10, Cora, 5, Burgess, their son, 7 years old. And then the last one here, also in Granger County, Tennessee, again near Knoxville, we have Sandy Walker, 44 years old, born in Africa. His wife, Dooley, 28, born in Tennessee, and their children, Rosa, 12, Ella, 4, Lucy, 1 year old, and the last one, Ada, a few months old. So friends, these are just a few of the names of the many that are on the 1880 census. And you know what was so interesting to me was that when I did my DNA results, it showed up that I had a grandparent, great-grandparent, or second great-grandparent who was 100% Nigerian, likely born between 1840 and 1900. And so that's what got me even thinking more.